Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be reacting to the US military actually has a zombie plan. And this is it. Conplan? 8888. Or 8,888, or is it just 8888? I have no idea. But that is what we'll be reacting to today. Before I start this video, I have to quickly state that a large majority percent of you guys, I think it's 93 or 94% of you guys who are currently watching this video are not subscribed. And it would mean the absolute world to me, guys, if you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button so you know exactly when I upload next, which at this point is every single day. So constant content, it's all here, you know. Also guys, I have been getting quite a few reaction recommendations recently and it gets a bit lost in the comment section down below. I have actually managed to get most of them, but I have opened up a Discord for this channel, which the link to join it is in the description down below. It's also on my channel page in the top right, as well as my other links if you'd like to check them out as well. It has a separate channel in the Discord called Reaction Suggestions. There's also an ideas page and plenty of other things. By the way guys, it is definitely worth joining this channel as you'll get heads up if I'm doing giveaways, and I will be doing some videos where I actually talk to you guys. So yeah, it's not just about leaving reaction suggestions, it's plenty of other things as well. Now I have blabbered on, without further ado, let's get it on with this reaction.
You wake up one day and groggily rub the sleep out of your eyes. After a few moments, you're alert enough to reach for your phone. Time to catch up on all the messages and Instagram likes and Facebook posts you missed during your sleep. Except your phone's not working. You have no service, and that should be impossible because you recently ditched T-Mobile. Shrugging, you reach for your laptop and flip it open, double-clicking on Firefox because Safari and Chrome are trash browsers. Oddly, Firefox refuses to load. You check your laptop's connectivity and sure enough, no service again. Weird, you think to yourself as you throw on some pants and check on your desktop, which also has no internet connection. Now, edging to a full-blown first-world panic, you head downstairs to make sure Mom paid the internet bill. You find her there in the kitchen aimlessly mixing something. You can't quite tell what it is because she has her back turned to you, but you think you hear her slightly groaning? Hesitantly, you call out to your mother, whose body suddenly jerks as she turns around slowly, moving very, very stiffly. As she turns to face you, you're horrified to see her dead eyes staring at you, and with a growl of brains, she leaps.
I don't quite think this is how zombies will actually play out if they ever exist, but I'll go along with this.
For you. You make a run for it, rushing outside and fleeing for your life, but the neighbors spot you and take off running after you too. In seconds, you're being chased by a mob of zombified relatives and neighbors, and they're almost upon you when you turn the corner and suddenly hear, "Get down!" Instinctively, you duck down, and in front of you, a military patrol in Humvees opens up 50 caliber machine guns, chewing the zombies to pieces. Overhead, you hear the roar of jets as 500-pound bombs are being dropped all over your former suburban neighborhood. Welcome to the zombie apocalypse. The previous scenario has been a staple of science fiction for decades, and stories of zombie apocalypses have thrilled and terrified generations of humanity. Yet for the United States military, the zombie apocalypse is no laughing matter, and they have a plan to stop it dead in its tracks. Pun fully intended. Contingency Plan 8888. The United States military regularly creates think tanks whose jobs are to envision future conflict or disaster scenarios. And
do they actually have a plan? Like this, that's insane. Like, it's so, I don't know if it would ever happen. I have no idea. Obviously it could, because the amount of scientist experiments that go on in Russia, China, and America, which you just don't know about, anything's possible. But the fact they actually have a plan for this is insane. And it's also kind of scary that if the government takes this sort of stuff seriously, is it actually something that people should be worried about? You know, like...
and then draw up military and civil responses to address these threats. Throughout the years, American war planners have created plans for everything, from nuclear war with the Soviet Union, to an enemy invasion of the US mainland, to responding to a massive asteroid or comet strike on planet Earth. Incredibly, the US military also has several contingency plans to combat an alien invasion.
Wherever you are, request a code online so you can complete the census for your university address.
I had to do that. It was boring. Yeah, it's very boring.
And that's no joke. These plans are highly secretive, as are the other contingency plans, and present military options to combat a variety of different alien invasion scenarios, at least to the best as our limited technology allows. Yet one of these contingency plans is unclassified and has been public knowledge for years.
Oh, wow.
That's Contingency Plan 8888. Originally, Conplan 8888 was developed as a teaching tool for American military planners. It was meant to be a fun exercise that introduced new war planners to the complexities of developing realistic response plans to a variety of contingencies.
Okay,
Because
so
of
it's
the-
used as a teaching tool because it's an outlandish claim that it could happen, but they still have a plan for it just in case. But because it's so out there and hard to control and hard to actually plan with it, they use it as a teaching tool. That's really cool. That's actually really good.
threat of war plans being made public, the instructors behind the original Conplan 8888 exercises wanted to use a completely fictional scenario, rather than using realistic scenarios with real nations that could be misconstrued in the public eye as an actual war plan. Because the US military actually has realistic
Yeah, because imagine training the people that do the war plans. Like, what happens if this country attacks us? And everyone does a full plan against it, and then obviously you have to release it as public knowledge years after. And then the public could be like, oh, we were planning to go against them. We were planning, we were going to go to war. We were that close, and then that country might like get confused. But you don't want to cause panic. So just use something that will never happen, or extremely unlikely.
plans to counter an alien invasion. It was decided that zombies presented the best option for developing a practice war plan to allow students to learn the ins and outs of military planning. However, just because Conplan 8888 was developed as a teaching exercise and not taken very seriously does not mean that it's a credible and fully functional plan. If zombies ever did kick off an apocalypse, Conplan 8888 would be there to save the US from extinction. So what does Conplan 8888 involve? First, the plan addresses the threats from a variety of different types of zombies. First is the PZ, or pathogenic zombies. These are zombies who are created after a host is infected by a virus, bacteria, or other form of contagion.
They actually have different types in this plan.
Next
wow.
are RZs, or radiation zombies. These are zombies created by extreme exposure to electromagnetic and or particle radiation. EMZs are evil magic zombies, or zombies created by an evil occult force. SZs, or space zombies, are zombie life forms that originate from outer space, or created by the toxic contamination of the Earth's environment by an extraterrestrial source. WZs, or weaponized zombies, are zombies that have been developed in a lab somewhere to be used as military weapon.
That's probably the most likely one, to be honest. An undead person with weapons. They can't die. Well, unless you completely blow them up, but a couple of shots ain't gonna... Oh, that's insane.
Perhaps deployed by a
Scary.
foreign adversary. SIZs are symbiont-induced zombies, or zombies who are created by the introduction of a symbiont life form into a healthy host. The symbiont keeps the host alive, but acting as its personal puppet. VZs, or vegetarian zombies, are zombies who do not feed on flesh, human or otherwise, but rather who feed on plant life, such as zombies from the Plants vs. Zombies series of video games. These zombies pose just as great a threat to humanity due to their appetite for vegetation, which can cause massive deforestation and the destruction of food crops. Lastly, the plan addressed the threat posed by CZs, or chicken zombies, which are the only
I'm sorry, this cannot be taken seriously.
type of zombie that actually exist. These zombies are produced when chickens are improperly euthanized with carbon monoxide and left in a pile of bodies, only for the still living chicken to crawl its way out of the pile and walk around until organ failure kills it. Next, the plan moves on to discuss the effect of environment on both zombies and surviving human population. It notes that pathogenic zombies will be vulnerable to ultraviolet light thanks to the UV light's ability to impair the function of RNA, which comprises most viral life forms. Thanks to this sensitivity, pathogenic zombies are not expected to be active during noon or in bright sunny conditions, and will likely be active at night. Evil magic zombies, space zombies, vegetarian zombies, and weaponized zombies are believed to be immune to any extreme meteorological phenomenon except for fires, floods, tornadoes, or tsunamis. For human survivors, the plan stresses the need for rainwater conservation, seeing as most public services will no longer be working. Also, groundwater or stream and river water is not recommended for drinking, as it will be unknown if it will be a vector for zombie infection. Humans who don't shelter in place in locations that protect from direct effect of air currents also run the risk of zombie infection if pathogen or zombification source is airborne. From here, the plan moves on to 5 phases of a response to a zombie outbreak. Upon news of the dead rising from their graves, or evil wizards creating zombie hordes, the US military will initiate Phase 0 of Conplan 8888. The phase is also called Shape the Environment, and will focus on giving US warfighters as great warning time and strategic advantage against the zombie hordes as possible. Military and civil agencies will monitor disease vectors for possible zombification, identifying any ways that infection can spread, and taking precautionary measures. With constant monitoring, the US military will be ready once the outbreak reaches critical levels, or is unleashed in full inside North America. All military forces will engage in renewed hazmat training as well as nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare training, already a routine part of US military training. Phase 1, Deterrence, will begin upon receipt of a warn order or a warning order by U.S. Strategic Command. In a normal war plan, this phase of planning involves displays of military power, so that foreign adversaries are deterred from hostile action. Because zombies cannot be reasoned with or intimidated, however, other forces which could further spread a zombie plague or aid in a zombie apocalypse, such as terrorist groups, adversary nations, and unethical bioresearch companies, are targeted instead. Phase 1 will see the US military initiate large-scale training meant to show any would-be human collaborators that the US military can still operate within a toxic and contaminated environment, hopefully deterring evil bioresearch companies or terrorists from aiding the zombie apocalypse. Phase 2, Seize the Initiative, will begin upon receipt of an alert order by US Strategic Command. This will immediately initiate a complete recall of all military and reserve personnel, and the immediate implementation of all continuity of operations plans, or COOP plans as they're known, are meant to ensure that no matter what happens, all of the major military commands are able to continue functioning as well as the civilian government. The plan will deploy all ground, naval, and airborne command and control nodes, with preparations to remain deployed for at minimum 35 days. This will ensure that the US military remains in control of its forces no matter what happens next. US Strategic Command will reach out to potential adversary nations, such as Russia and
Why don't they have eyes?
China, and inform them of preparation for counter-zombie operations, conducting confidence-building measures to ensure these nations don't believe the mobilization is using the zombie threat as a cover for military action against their own countries. The US Air Force's Global Strike Command, in conjunction with assets from other services, will immediately generate forces for strike missions against zombie horde concentrations.
Yeah, but what happens if there's people in that area? Like actual civilians?
Not just here in the US, but abroad. The rest of the
Just gonna end up killing them.
US military will immediately begin fortifying civilian defense zones and enforcing quarantines where applicable. Phase 3, Dominance, will initiate a massive American military response against the zombie threat. Combat operations must be swift and completely eradicate zombie concentrations, as even a lone survivor can reignite a zombie outbreak. Cities and other major population centers may need to be indefinitely blockaded by military forces while the civilians are relocated to more remote areas. Phase 4, Stabilization, will begin no earlier than at least 40 days after the initiation of Phase 3 operations. U.S. military forces will begin initiating local reconnaissance operations in order to determine the strength of surviving zombie forces. They'll also locate isolated pockets of survivors and shepherd them to secure areas, as well as survey the status of basic civil...
Yeah, but what are the chances they're just gonna kill people that are like by themselves surviving? Just kill them, because do you want to risk the chance of that one person having, like, being slightly infected? He hasn't turned yet, and you're going to bring him to a place full of people. Like, do you just kill them, or do you take them back and monitor them? I don't know.
Civil services, such
really
as power,
different, I don't know.
water, sewage, and lines of communication. Recon forces will also conduct surveys of the epidemiological security of the local environment, ascertaining if a lingering zombie infection threat is still remaining. Phase 5, Normalization, will see U.S. military forces aid in the re-establishment of civil authority. Commercial and civilian infrastructure will be repaired as best as possible, and the restoration of functioning civil services will be a top priority. Conplan 8888 aims to prepare the U.S. military to stop a zombie apocalypse dead in its tracks. and highlights the specific actions that local forces need to take in order to ensure their survival and the continued ability to fight back against the zombie hordes. The plan does highlight some current strategic limitations, however, such as a lack of dedicated counter-zombie military task force. There's also the difficulty in ensuring a zombie is truly neutralized, though the plan does recommend that military forces burn all the bodies thoroughly.
Do you like playing tabletop games but can't be in the same place at the same time?
Yeah.
Luckily,
Other strategic limitations include the inability to maintain airborne command posts in the air past a week. This is because while in-flight refueling could keep airborne command posts operational for a month, or perhaps even more if needed, the airfields that support the tankers, which would fuel these aircraft, would likely be overrun by zombies very quickly. There are also serious defensive deficiencies for many of the nation's ground-based command and control nodes, as few command and control nodes within the United States are hardened facilities capable of withstanding a relentless horde of zombies. Conplan 8888 recommends that facilities maintain a stockpile of lumber and train their personnel how to weld, so they can better secure their facilities against outside intrusion. Lastly, the plan warns that there is little useful scientific data to be used by the US military to counter a zombie threat, and war planners may need to turn to popular media for inspiration on destroying the Walking Dead. There's also a dire warning within Conplan 8888 that of all the different types of zombies that the US military may have to face, evil magic zombies may prove to be the most difficult to defeat, as they're animated by evil magic. The plan suggests the recruitment of the Chaplain Corps to combat this threat.
What?
Do you think any plan
Do you
could
think
really...
do you think they're real though? Like magic zombies? I don't even know. I guess you got a plan for the worst, haven't you? Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. And if you enjoy my content, subscribing would be very nice of you guys if you'd like to do that. And yeah, you can hit that notification bell as well, as it will let you know exactly when I upload, which at this point is every single day. And before I quickly end this video, I will bring it back to the beginning where I have got a Discord server. Again, the link to join it is in the description. Also, the original video is in the description down below. And also, you can join the server, the Discord server, from a link in the description, but also on the channel page at the top right. Now, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.